are listening to KFUG Community Radio. I'm Amanda Dockter. The show is called Squirrel Interrupted, and sometimes I squirrel interrupt myself by touching the button and not warning people that we're going on the air, and I apologize for that. I am joined in the Fug House today with an old friend. I don't mean to call you old, but I've known you since I was a teenager. Ron Cole of Gateway Education of the Wild Rivers Coast and colleague Vanessa. Hi, welcome. Welcome aboard.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, well, see, now I have to actually touch the buttons to turn it on again. We can try that again. Ron Cole.
Hey, Amanda.
And Vanessa.
Hi.
There we go. We did it that time.
Hey.
Hey, thank you. So I invited you in here because, well, I mean, like, I've known you forever. You almost kind of feel like extended family at this point in that whole community sort of way. Yeah.
For about most of Crescent City probably feels that way at this point.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I met you for the first time back when I was doing youth council stuff with Friday Night Live way back in the day when I was in high school. And then I remember in drama club in high school, you did the fight choreography for Romeo and Juliet.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Right.
That happened. But what you're most famous for, and what we're going to be talking about today, are your adventures through Gateway Education of the Wild Rivers Coast, which is your baby, sort of, and it's grown.
It has, and it's surprisingly so, and there's so many people to thank for that.
Yeah.
Your sister was part of Gateway's getting its nonprofit status, federal nonprofit status taken care of.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I mean, basically, when we took all the paperwork to the lawyer, they said, well, you just made my job really easy.
Nice.
I was like, wow.
Nice.
And to be truthful, I had very little to do with that. That was a whole team that Sarah had put together.
Nice. To
make that happen. And so I'm eternally grateful not to have had to do that and to reap all the benefits afterwards.
I've heard nothing but good things from well, now young adults who have come up through your programs.
Oh my gosh.
Talking about the
campers having babies now. They're married, and I'm like, holy cow.
What? The inevitable march of time strikes again, you know?
And yet it doesn't feel like anything's changed until I look in the mirror, and then I go,
oh, right. Yes, time. There it goes. Yeah. So it kind of started out with the summer camps, and you've branched out into multiple enrichment programs since then. You just wrapped up a few camps already for this summer. Is that correct?
That's the survival camps.
Survival camps. That's where it started, right?
Yes, that was the flagship.
There you go.
If you want to call it that. That started originally back in 2001. 2001. Is that an echo? 2001.
2001.
It's like, oh, God.
That is a long time. Oh, 2001.
Yeah, and there's so many people who are part of that. I mean, I remember that it was like the first year, and we couldn't get insurance, or the insurance company dropped us.
Oh, wow.
And I said, holy cow. And I went to my mentor at the time, who was Kevin Hendricks, who was the head of the transfer station at the time. And I said, Kevin, I don't know what to do. I haven't got any insurance for camp. And what do I do? And he has that 1,000-mile gaze, and he looks off in the distance, then he looks back at me and he says, well, you better be careful.
You're just going to put him out there.
You can think that way?
Sound advice. Sound advice. You can't get insured. Be careful.
And since that time, Western Valley has taken care of us for years and years because of that. Not because of that, but since then. And we haven't had an issue. But what that taught me was that you can think outside of the box. You can, there are no hard lines for anything. And that's not true for everybody. For some institutions, you must have hard lines. The school district has to have hard lines. And I get it, but I feel like education goes beyond the hard lines.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit so neatly inside that box. There's a living curriculum that exists through the trial and error process of learning to navigate these things, be it insurance or founding a nonprofit or all of those things. And Gateway is about awareness, right? So part of that awareness is my own limitations. So as a human being, as a person growing and having experiences, I don't have your experiences. I don't have Vanessa's experiences. So when the board changes over or we have new people come in, like Vanessa has come in the last 3 years. Holy smokes, the changes and the way, and the filters that are suddenly one filter leaves, another filter comes in. It's like, and this is Vanessa's filter, and she has all these great ideas and gifts and abilities, and I'm like, oh, thank God. It's like adding another perspective into the mix just really helps it grow and evolve.
Yeah, the rose keeps growing, and it's really amazing. Some of the things that Vanessa has brought in, for example, our flyers are works of art now. They're not just a flyer.
That's a graphic design background, that's why.
Nice. They are beautiful. I've got them pulled up on my phone here. I left them in the comments section of the KFUG Facebook post about this. But you can also find Gateway Education of the Wild Rivers Coast on Facebook to see these flyers for yourself. They're beautiful.
We have one in Spanish as well.
I saw that. Yeah. I appreciate the inclusivity. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Reaching out to our Smith River peeps out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. The Gateway's mission, as you forwarded to me for script copy, thank you for that, is to develop self-awareness and healthy relationships through educational, recreational, and artistic activities in nature. And that development of self-awareness is the feedback that I've gotten from young adults who have gone through your programs, and just like without even being asked, they just proactively give me this information, like, here's a skill I picked up and here's where I picked it up. There's something about going out into the wilderness and changing that perspective, changing that lens that has been really beneficial to a lot of youth in helping them understand themselves and what they're capable of, and I don't know, kind of remove the blinders on some of those limitations that they might have self-imposed in their mind. So it's really cool that you're doing this, but you've branched out, and it's more than just survival camp now. You've got like multiple factions of Gateway Education going on.
Well, I don't know if I'd call them factions. But
language is true.
The survival component of what we do, I think, is probably important as setting the groundwork for all the other things. So we're actually thinking about making it funneling everybody through the survival camps, so that when they go into the business camps or they go into the disc golf camps, they've already got a concept of how to create a safe container for everybody.
I like to call it the Gateway culture. Ooh. You get your first, intro into Gateway culture and Gateway language and Gateway ways.
Nice.
One of the things we have focused on is the one rule, which helps mitigate any behavioral issues, because the one rule is about creating a safe emotional, physical environment for yourself and for others. And it just creates this awesome environment. Everyone wants to be there. Whoever's there is there because they chose to be there.
Yeah, that makes a difference in the culture.
And those two things together, and then the R and core relationship. So you get to learn all those things. C for choice, O is for the one rule, R is for relationship, and E is for everything happens for a reason.
Oh, wow.
So you either go to camp because you're meant to be there, or you skip a year because you're not meant to be there that year. You're meant to learn whatever it was that you were meant to learn. And so when you have the core, you learn the core during camps, it's really great leading into the other extracurricular kind of activities, such as the sports camp, disc golf, or like the business camp, Wild Harvest Adventure.
Nice. And it looks like, okay, so which one is coming up Next is Camp 1 of Coyote Disc Golf Camp. Is that correct?
Correct.
Looks like August 5th through 9th is when that's coming through.
Yeah.
Now, I had a question based on the flyer, and since I have the graphic designer and Ron Cole, of course, in the house, perfect people to ask. So I noticed that Camp 1 states, learn the basics to become a professional disc golfer, learn to drive, putt, and upshoot, travel to new courses, and eat great food. I noticed that Camp 2 states ages 11 to 22. What's the recommended age range for Camp 1?
9 to 15.
9 to 15. Okay, cool. So that's the basic. That's your disc golf 101 situation.
That is correct. And by the way, don't tell me your age. I don't really care. If you have gray hair and glasses, fine. If you want to learn disc golf,
fair enough.
We're, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as probably Gateway is concerned, everybody is learning.
Yeah.
Everybody is a student. Everybody, for the purposes of some things, I will limit the ages because like school district doesn't want anybody participating that's older than 18.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But there are I remember at 25 years old, still not knowing what I wanted to do, but here I am, a recognized adult who can drink and everything. I was like, I'm lost.
Right.
If I had had the opportunity to go to a business camp, I would have.
Yeah. So tell me about the business camp. Is that new to this year, or you started that in previous years? When did that one come into play?
Like 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years, actually probably 6 or 7, because we were beta testing it for years before we
Gotcha.
actually put it out there as a program.
Okay.
And I mean, what Amanda, what is the one thing you would have wanted if you were going to explore business? What would you have wanted to explore?
I don't know if I should say it on the air. No, that's the problem for me personally, is narrowing it down to one thing, because I've always got about 12,000 ideas.
Right. And what do you need? What do you need to explore any one of those 12,000 ideas?
I mean, a foundation of stability to be able to sit down and navigate and focus on which pathway is.
Oh,
the
but
one I
maybe
need to
that's
work
something
on.
you could actually discover in the process of doing that business, whatever that one of 12,000 is.
Right.
But the one thing you need is money.
Oh,
you
right.
need
Right.
money.
Well, foundation of
Just-
stability. Yeah.
Right.
It equals. Yeah, it equals.
So
Fair point. Yeah.
that's the number one thing I wanted to get out of the way. So that's why I tell the kids, you have $1,000 right now. Here's 10 $100 bills.
Wow.
To start your business. And I chose Wild Harvest Adventure as the title of the program because we have so much food in our area.
Yeah.
If you can chase down an elk, you got him. If you can find mushrooms, you got him. If you can approach a fisherman on a boat, you got the tuna. If you got a mouth, you can ask for the people's apples, which is what a lot of the kids do. They identify what wild foods they want to pursue, and usually it's always apples.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is youth led, youth managed, youth decisions 100% of the way.
Oh wow.
I am a glorified flunky, and we have people who are allowed to be subcontractors. If the kids have to go to school or something, and haven't got time to clean the cider press, they may ask Vanessa, "Hey Vanessa, we'll pay you an agreed upon hourly wage if you will clean the press for us," and she'll say yes or no. They hash out the details.
Wow. Okay.
But that is they've got $1,000 to invest in the basic needs they need. The containers, the leasing the press for $50, paying for their farmers market space.
Oh right.
Getting the county approval, and certifications. They got. It's like, okay, I need one of you to come, and I'll do the flunky driving, and I'll get you over there, and let's get this taken care of.
Okay, so they're going through the process of setting up a business,
yeah.
and including navigating all of the layers of bureaucracy,
Loading
and
the trucks,
fees
taking them over to the farmer's
grunt
market,
work.
setting up the booth, all of it.
Wow. Have you so coming from this camp where people where the youths are provided with the opportunity to go ahead and start their own business. Have you seen any of your graduates of this carry that business off further into the future or take those skills into another adventure? Or is it still pretty new that we haven't seen that yet?
Yeah, Riley Bennett.
Oh.
Riley Bennett, who is also a 4-H'er, high school, not quite graduate, started a fungus business.
Wow.
Started growing mushrooms after multiple years in Wild Harvest Adventure. Decided that she absolutely loves mycology and has started logs in her backyard that produce mushrooms. She can provide fresh or dried mushrooms to anybody out there in Del Norte County. Reach out to Riley Bennett. But yeah, and she is now selling mushrooms to Wild Harvest Adventures, so
That's
that until the rains come, they can't harvest any mushrooms.
Gotcha.
So, but now they can.
Gotcha. I mean, this is a great climate for that, so that's actually like a really smart path to go down.
Oh my gosh.
And it's nice that they have an adult who's able to walk them through the sequences required to do the business thing, but then also have the autonomy to go ahead and have that creative control over what they want that business to be. And that is one of the underwriting announcements that we play here on KFUG. You mentioned, they didn't address it in school, and you see that online all the time. You see people complaining like, we didn't learn these skills in school. How come nobody's teaching this? And here you are providing the extracurriculars. So why doesn't somebody do it? And then you did. So that's fantastic.
It's essentially just doing what I wanted to do when I was a kid.
Nice.
Which I think a lot of us do.
Beautiful. All right, I think I'm going to cut to a music break and we can recalibrate and come back to where we are. Now, you sent me a list of names and I made my own selections from that, but we'll have a little democracy here. I will list to you the selections I made and we can go from there. Do you want to start with Queen or Blue Man Group?
Blue Man Group.
Okay, and I have to explain why Blue Man Group. Like I mentioned, I've known Ron Cole for a really long time, and a mutual friend of ours, Jared, was having a birthday party once upon a time, and you threw a birthday party for Jared, and literally the entire premise of this birthday party was just watching this Blue Man Group live concert DVD. And it was like an epic party. Like if you describe that as a party premise to someone that's like, no, I'll script it. But we all had an amazing time. We were rocking out. We were dancing. It was a vibe. I got like super into the Blue Man Group's album, The Complex, after that. And it became one of my workout albums, like go-to, like with the beats.
Nice.
So there's your context there. I enjoy the Blue Man Group and it's all Ron Cole's fault. So I'm going to play What Is Rock from The Complex. All right, keep it tuned here. You are listening to KFUG Community Radio. I'm Amanda Dockter. The show is called Squirrel Interrupted, and when we come back, we'll be talking more with Ron Cole and Vanessa about gateway education of the Wild Rivers Coast. That was What Is Rock by the Blue Man Group. You're listening to KFUG Community Radio. I'm Amanda Dockter, and I am live in the studio at time of recording with Ron Cole and Vanessa of Gateway Education of the Wild Rivers Coast. When last we spoke, we were talking about the upcoming Wild Harvest Adventure Camp, which is more of an extracurricular activity because it's going on during the school year. I'm seeing this is kicking off August 24th, and you still have slots available for this, yes?
Yeah, we're taking 8 to 10 people on that, and we try to limit that camp because it's hard to work with more people than that as a group.
Yeah.
I mean, you're expected to choose when you're going to have your business meeting, your weekly business meeting, to determine, what's in the inventory, what needs to be purchased, what are the new markets that are going to be opened up, because part of all the gateway activities involve discovering what your passion is. Yeah. So you may not be a harvester, but you love to sell.
Yeah.
Or maybe you really enjoy creating new products.
Yeah.
Or maybe you like processing. Some people just love to clean the apples, polish them up, get them ready for the cider press.
So this provides an opportunity for them to test out those various roles and see all of the elements that go into making a business possible.
Precisely.
Just to find out what's for them. So applications for this are due by August 21st. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, beautiful. I almost said July 21st. I'm like, nope, time warp. Okay, recalibrate. It's fine. And so you still have slots available for that. How does one apply for this Wild Harvest Adventure opportunity?
Go to gateway-education-of-the-wild-rivers-coast.com and you can download an application there.
Okay.
Do not be intimidated by the price, because for all the camps this year, Klamath Promise Neighborhood Grant has been, and Josh Norris has been so generous.
Shout out.
Providing pretty much as many scholarships as we need.
That's
so
fantastic.
if you do not let money ever be an issue for you.
I saw on the flyer, so thank you for bringing that up for a clarification, that there's a mention of a $400 investment, but you're saying scholarships are available. So
Yes.
how does that work? Is the investment covered through those grants?
Yes.
Wow.
Just bring it up during the application interview process. And by the way, it is a 3-step process.
Oh, wow.
There is, first of all, you must have an interview.
Okay.
And that is so that you actually learn about the program and know all the facets of it, and you can make your choice. As Vanessa was saying earlier, everything is based on choice, something that a lot of us may not realize that we have as a young person, to be part of that program.
Yeah.
I mean, and usually I have the participants give me a call after the interview within 24 hours, stating whether they want to, when they're by themselves without the influence of parents, siblings, or friends, give me a call and say, hey, I want to be part of this program. Or, that was a little edgy for me. Maybe next year or something. And so and we totally respect either decision.
Yeah.
That's great. The only one that we have a little trouble respecting is when we don't hear from you and we don't know what happened to you.
Yeah.
So,
And if we're learning how to be responsible business folk, following up is probably a good quality to have.
And it's been, I can't tell you how many kids who, after, they started at 9 years old or 12 or whatever, and years later would say, that when you made me actually have to call you and make a choice about doing something was the first time I actually felt like I had some control over my life.
Wow.
And I was like, wow.
It's like that level of accountability is also like a level of responsibility. It's like leveling up, like almost like, oh, I've got to take this driver's test to learn how to be a driver. Oh, I have to make this scary phone call. And
and it's surprising. It's surprising that not every, I've had so many kids say, I want to be part of this camp right now. It's like, you're great. And then like one or two will call me back and say, hey, I know I said yes, but I really don't think I want to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
And then I contact the parents later and they say, what do you mean? He said yes. And it's like, you guys need to have a conversation.
Yeah. Well, so what is the suggested age range for Wild Harvest Adventure?
11 to 26.
Okay, cool. So if you are a youth or young adult looking for an after-school activity or just general enrichment as an emerging adult, this will kind of help teach you the ins and outs of running your own business.
Yeah, you learn the vocabulary, what's the difference between gross profit, net profit. We've got somebody to help us teach balance sheets.
Oh, nice.
How to create profit and loss statements.
Okay.
And then, of course, basic marketing. What do you want to just do the bare minimum,
Right. There's all sorts of options available to you, and I like the fact that it is youth led and that they have that autonomy in where they go with it. Yet they still have that shepherding guidance to help steward them through the process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dar Caldwell is also part of this.
Oh, right on.
And
Shout out to Dar.
Shout out Dar.
Love that fairy.
And what we provide is, okay, this is what we did last year, or this is what we did 5 years ago. And these were the results.
Nice.
Not to say that the results could be that, it may change, in today's economy. Maybe you don't want to raise the price, or maybe you do.
Yeah.
And how much does it cost? Now, okay, so here, reality check right here, all right?
Yeah.
Are you making $20 an hour doing Wild Harvest Adventure? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know, if you really calculate the harvesting hours, the processing hours, the number of kids,
right.
that's the time at the booth, and the cleaning, and you know, even though the kids came up with great pricing, they really did. Mm-hmm. They didn't look at the labor costs.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
Keep in mind, guys, it is not a $20 to $25 an hour job. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to calculate your hourly wage yourself.
The fun part about it, though, is that can change depending on if the group was able to figure it all out, like in their preliminary meetings. And if the size is smaller, if you've only got 8 members in Wild Harvest Adventure, which we're actually considering capping it off so that the experience is rich in that sense, that they're working towards a little bit more profit.
There you go.
But the main goal, I think, is that mentorship piece, that we are here to mentor and experience exposure to the community, exposure to all of the different facets that are happening for business, and to make it fun.
Yeah.
To make it really, really fun. Like, I don't have to go to a 9-to-5 job, right? It's that opportunity and that alternative.
Maybe I can create my own business. Maybe
and I can do it in a group and in a team even.
Right.
That's huge, because even if you do decide to go back into the workforce, you know how to work in a team environment. You know how to stand up for yourself. Your self-confidence boosts.
Or maybe you need to deal with that person who's on their cell phone.
Yeah, maybe there's a hard person that, you know, like it really is.
How do you create a policy?
Yeah. Some of us just don't have those skills. Like, as we're growing up, some of us just don't have it.
Or the courage.
This exposure, and self-confidence that you gain out of this program, it's worth whatever investment all the kids have been putting into it from until now. Luckily, we have these scholarships available, so you can just join and get this awesome experience.
And what was interesting, a great piece of feedback for me was at the end of the Harvest Adventure, when the kids were trying to decide, well, how do we divvy up the money? There's 10 of us here. How do we do this? And fortunately, one of the kids had been keeping track of everybody's hours.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
And they were like, well, maybe we should do this by hours. And one of the kids was like, but wait a minute, what about those of us who like took on a special role, like somebody took care of the money, right? Somebody else took care of hours. Somebody else was doing advertising. Wait a minute, you didn't do any advertising. Okay, how do we deal with that?
So then they proposed, can we get a bonus for the people who did special projects or went above and beyond? Can they get a bonus? And then it was agreed on that, that they should get a bonus.
Not only that, because this was a group that didn't get scholarship benefits, they said, why don't we take the profits and first pay back everybody who paid for their way into the program?
Wow.
I was like, that's $400. Okay, sounds good. So they paid themselves that off the top. Those people who got special roles got, they figured out a bonus of like $50 or something like that. And then they divided up the rest proportionately by the hours that they had spent in the farmers market booth, had in harvesting, and it was like, it took 3.5 hours. The parents were going, it's past dinner time. Can you guys just use some democracy to wrap this up? And I couldn't believe it. The kids ignored them. They totally did not respond to the parents, and they kept working on the whiteboard and doing the math.
It's impressive, though, when you see kids so passionate about a project that they are wanting to really dig their heels in and see it through to the end. That is so empowering to watch when you see those light bulbs go off. It was
Absolutely.
My dad was at that meeting, and he was like, I just wanted to see where youth were at, and this says so much. I was like, wow. I'm glad you were here for this, Dad.
So let me just repeat, if you are a parent of a child, or perhaps a child listening, between the ages of 11 and, you said 26? 20. If you are a 26-year-old child, I'm a 38-year-old child, so it's fine. No, emerging adults as well. If you want the opportunity to learn how to start your own business in a kind of a low-stakes, supported, mentored environment, to be stewarded through the process, There are still slots available for the Wild Harvest Adventure Camp. You can visit gatewayeducationofthewildriverscoast.com. Did I get it right?
Nice.
Oh, man, didn't even see. That wasn't even on the card. That was just right out of the old noggin.
I want to address something that for the parents who are worried about their 11-year-old being in the same room as
Please.
a 26-year-old. All situations are mentored. There are always multiple adults with the kids. We try to keep a very, very low ratio. Our survival camps are one adult to 3 kids, and that's because you know how schools are, right? There's one teacher for 26 to 30 kids. If you break that down, that's about 2 minutes per hour of attention that a child is able to get if there's nobody else acting out. So it's really, really important that, and a really important point in Gateway, that there is high mentorship ratios.
Yeah, absolutely. There is absolutely value, and in my time in education as well, I've really witnessed the value of intergenerational education, because sometimes the older kids will just instinctively try and help to nurture the younger kids, and giving them the opportunity to teach it back helps them retain it better. And I've seen that work magic. But I also know, being an anxious parent, you're like, I want to make sure that this is a well supervised environment. There's nothing sketchy going on. So thank you for clarifying those ratios and what that's for.
And it's interesting. Every kid I go to camp, just about every kid, I always ask, hey, what motivates you? What do you really love doing? What really gets it happening for you? And I'd say 90% of the time, the answer is, I like helping people.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm just like, wow. Okay.
Maybe there's hope after all. All right, I'm going to cut to another music break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about the upcoming Coyote Disc Golf Camps. All right. Queen or Prince? Queen. All right, We Will Rock You. Because we did What Is Rock first. Maybe I did the order backwards, but it's fine. It's all related. When we come back, we will be talking about Coyote Disc Golf Summer Camps coming up here soon. Keep it tuned here to KFUG Community Radio. We will rock you. It's what we do. That was We Will Rock You, and I forgot how short it is because I'm used to it leading into another song. I didn't even realize that. You are listening to KFUG Community Radio. The show is Squirrel Interrupted, and I just Squirrel Interrupted Ron Cole. Ron Cole and Vanessa are my guests in the studio in the Fug House today. And we were just talking about the upcoming disc golf camps, because you're the guy. You're the disc golf guy. You're the disc golf Jedi guy. That's the jokes are fun. I shared the video that we made for my birthday back in 15 years ago at my sister's house when I was out visiting from Colorado, when we did the disc golf of death. So for my birthday party, I'm sorry, I scrolled on you. This wasn't what I intended to talk about, but it just happened. So 15 years ago, I was living in Colorado for a little bit. I came back to visit for my birthday, and I decided for my birthday party that I wanted it to be like a theater performance murder mystery type thing. And we all set up little skits staging my murder. And then the guests at the party confessed to my murder. And you, Ron Cole, did the disc golf of death, and you killed me with a disc golf. And I still have your confession, and I actually shared it in promotion of this show. Just
can't believe we missed it.
'Cause it makes me laugh every time. It cracks me up. Your confession to my murder. The mystery has been solved.
Oh, God, I would give a mint to hear that. I'm so curious.
I'll pop it up right now. I mean, the audio won't be great, but why not? Why not? Let's go ahead and do that for funsies. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Amanda, see, she had it coming. When she moved to Colorado against the will of the entire family, friends, relations, the whole bit. What did she expect? Got the job, family's happy, friends are happy. Amanda, I love you. But I'd do it again.
Yes. So the joke there is that Ron Cole plays a killer game of disc golf, and so he's the guy that you want to learn disc golf from here in Del Norte County, and that just happens to work out because Camp 1 of Coyote Disc Golf is kicking off here August 5th through 9th.
Yep.
And you mentioned this is the beginner's one. This is like the 101 sort of situation. You said there is still space available on that, 12 spaces?
Correct.
Did I get that right? All right. So how do folks sign up for this one or find out more?
Step 1, call in for an interview.
Step 2, listen to Amanda's show. And go to Gateway Education of the Wild Rivers Coast.com, of course, if you want an application. But yes, call 707-954-7666 or...
What's the number?
Try again, Mr.
707-954-7666.
There it is.
Or
408-893-5546.
And that's to get your interview.
That's to set up your interview, yeah.
That's just to schedule the interview, yep.
Okay, and what's the difference between this interview versus like the Wild Harvest interview? What can an anxious person who doesn't like making phone calls have to expect for this?
Actually, the interview process has more to do with answering their questions.
Oh, right on.
We give them the basic information or whatever knowledge they need to be able to make the choice to go or not go.
Cool. So if you have questions about disc golf, set up that interview and get your questions answered.
Yeah. About the camp, yes.
Beautiful.
Every aspect of the camp, because we want you to make an informed choice.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
So August 5th through 9th is the basic 101, and you said that one sticks locally. That's a day camp, and you mostly hang around the local area.
9 to 3 p.m., yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And we do actually have quite a few disc golf courses and areas around. I didn't notice it until you were a part of our life, and then at that point I started to know, oh, is that what those baskets are there for? What's that weird little chain thing? Is it like an avant-garde wind chime?
We have found baskets lined with foil for barbecuing.
That's fantastic.
We have seen dog leashes attached to them. People spread bird food underneath them.
Oh wow.
It's amazing.
People use them as lost and found baskets too. They'll they find something on the beach and they'll put it in the basket.
Oh yeah. That's really multiple uses for baskets.
Yeah, the ones down at beachfront, because the winds at beachfront are always so good, and I've only played disc golf a few times, but doing so at Beachfront Park is just fantastic, because on a very gusty day, like right there, you can get some distance. You
can get some distance, or you can get some negative distance.
Yeah.
It's one of the great equalizers, I should say, when there's competitions. Like there's going to be Wild Rivers Disc Golf Club is having, who we work with, is having a tournament. It's called Bangin' at the Beach this the 14th of September. And this is, what number is this? Number 10?
This is the 11th one.
The 11th one. And it gets so... What I've heard about this tournament when I travel and play disc golf is that it is the most hospitable tournament anybody ever goes to. It's like they love coming up here. They also come up because it's one of the few places where they get unadulterated wind challenge. And you're playing on one of the only, I think it's the only course in the United States that is on the beach. And as a result, some of the holes, some of the fairways on the holes change width, because when the tide is in, you got a very narrow fairway. When the tide is out, you got a big wide open fairway.
I didn't realize that we were one of the only ones we've got so many best kept secrets here.
Del Norte County really is one of the best kept secrets in the United States.
I believe
and
that.
Maybe it's better if we keep it that way.
I mean, people love it, and it's a beautiful place to visit. I mean, we've got so much scenery, but also, once the word gets out, that goes away. So we like to keep a nice balance there.
Yeah. And so they come up, they love to play the wind, and because the wind is an average person can suddenly be, if they play really smart, can be an above average rated player by the end of the tournament. Meaning, I'm a 970 rated player. I'm almost 1,000, and some of the best are like 1,025 and stuff like that. So wind really does equalize everything.
Wow.
And so it's fun. They like the wind. They love the raffles. They love the fact that we operate out of the cultural center now.
Oh.
I mean, we keep growing. We used to be at Seaquake, and we'd have the back room at Seaquake, but now it's gotten so big that we've had to move to the cultural center, which is great.
That's awesome. But that's the more advanced stuff. So Camp 1 is basic. You said mostly sticks around local. You said perhaps Joe Hamilton Elementary?
Yeah, we usually like operate base-wise around Joe Hamilton because it's got a great little... It was the first course in Del Norte County.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that little 7-hole course.
Oh,
and
cute.
there were so many donors from this community that made that happen.
Oh.
Hemickson, the school district, there's so just... And they did so many edgy things like drive the kids around in the cement truck to each place, putting the concrete tee pads down and filling in the baskets and stuff like that. Oh. That was a long time ago, guys. There's nobody to blame now. They're all retired.
We Del Norted it.
There you go. And so at the camp, we start at Joe Hamilton. We do the conditioning where we work our legs, work our arms.
Nice.
The goal is to do more than you did the day before, so you're just constantly building and building and building. Okay. And then after that, get your techniques down. You know, Vanessa is one of the best upshooters in Del Norte County. She can show you how to use your Jedi powers. Yes, sometimes we will blindfold you and have you throw.
Oh my gosh.
And in the process, you will feel, you'll develop awareness about how your body moves. It's like, and you'll be amazed when you take off your blindfold and you see how accurate you really are and how far you've thrown.
That's pretty rad.
So learning how to putt, if you want to make money in disc golf, learn how to putt. There's a couple of different styles, and you can metamorph between the two, find out what works best for you. You will always be guided to the best possible technique, but you will never be told to stick with it. You just work with whatever works for you.
Cool.
And then, of course, how to drive. You want to drive a country mile? That's great. We can show you how to do that.
Okay. So this one, again, August 5th through 9th. What is the deadline to register for Camp 1?
2 days before camp.
2 days before camp. All right, so you got a little time. August 3rd, I guess, would be, that's how time works, allegedly. Okay, all right. Now, I'm seeing on the flyer here that the cost is $425, but that also scholarships are available. Is the same story as the Wild Rivers Harvest?
Exactly the same. If you do want to pay, it really goes a long ways to helping Gateway generate liquid funds for new programs that we're doing and other things that we do. But if you haven't got the money, do not let that be an issue.
Beautiful.
Klamath Promise Neighborhood, Josh Norris is there to rescue you. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. Shout out to KPN and Josh Norris. We appreciate you. All of us community building partners here, big names in the community here. So Camp 2, that's like the next level. It's not necessarily like the advanced level, but I'm seeing overnight camping trip.
Yes.
Awesome.
It is because we want to take them to farther courses to get to, so that they can see that all the different dynamics that are on a course. It's not just left, right, flat. It's also over lakes and between really narrow trees and down a slope. It's oh my gosh, there are so many dynamics to a great disc golf course that unfortunately we can't include here in Del Norte County. But as travel was one of those things that created who I am today. Travel is one of the best teachers ever.
Yeah.
As a disc golfer, you will be traveling, and what do you bring?
Right.
Are you crossing a state line? Is there anything you need to make sure you have with you beyond your discs?
Yeah.
Do you have something that you can sleep on? Do you have, we don't provide those things for you, You're going to make your own duff bed if you haven't brought a sleeping bag.
You learn a lot about yourself traveling with other people. A lot about social skills.
Yes. So, what do you call boundaries? What are
Boundaries.
Yes. Very important.
So registration deadline for that, again, 2 days prior?
Correct.
Okay. How many slots do you have available for the Camp 2, the overnight camping trip?
7.
7 slots available. Okay, so that runs once more August 16th through 18th. So you would want to go ahead and get your applications in by August 14th. But first and foremost, talk to Ron or Vanessa about
setting up your interview,
getting those questions answered. More information available on this. You can find Gateway Education of the Wild Rivers Coast on Facebook or gatewayeducationofthewildriverscoast.com, or I'll get you those phone numbers again because they're on the flyer in front of me. Camp coordinators Ron Cole, you could give him a call at 707-954-7666, or Vanessa Ortiz at 408-893-5546 if you or your youths or young adult are interested in building skills in these camps that we have available. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. There was something I wanted to share about for those who are interested in the advanced disc golf camp, please, you want to be interested in competition at that point. That is focused on the competitive player. How do you make decisions in a tense environment when you're actually on the field playing against other people?
It's
that
specific
is what
training
is.
for people that are in tournament modality.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It'd be great if you played one tournament at least.
Okay.
It will help you a lot because then you will have a context within which to learn what you're going to be learning.
Right on. So beginners, August 5th through 9th, that is your time. And if you are ready for competition mode, if you've got some experience under your belt and you're ready to travel. If you're ready to revel and you're ready to travel.
Yes. Both.
No,
Lots
wait a
of
minute.
music, lots of great food.
That was my next question. I see on here, eat great food. What do you guys got some pit stops along the way? You cook your own? What's the food situation?
Both. The food is so important.
Yeah.
To me personally, I
Well,
know
you
it
need
is to
fuel.
Vanessa.
Yeah.
And even the survival camps, it's not processed. Everything is made on the site.
We
no
do
matter where
mostly,
we go.
80% organic. Really good food.
Yeah.
It's tasty. Organic doesn't mean not
supporting
tasty.
local businesses or external businesses. I make it my job, my mission to find places that harvest locally as much as they can and
Right
make
on.
their own food.
Right on.
I love food. I really do.
I know my sister says that she learns to prepare large amounts of food for a large group of people because of her time at the survival camps and everything like that. So I've heard legend of the food. But I was curious how that worked out with the traveling and everything like that. You guys packing up mess kits with you, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
and we hire the best cooks. I mean, they are so good at what they do.
Yay.
And they just know how to shop. They know where to, Ocean Air Farms is cleaned out. Thank you, Ocean Air Farms.
Shout out.
Rumiano Cheese Factory.
Thank you, Rumi.
I like your squeaky cheese.
I do too. He doesn't really like it.
That's
I love
okay.
it.
They make the best smoked cheddar ever. But yeah, the kids who are part of the program, young adults who are part of the program, adults who are part of the program can always expect very good food in all the programs.
That's beautiful. So we're working on developing confidence, awareness of self, and also a palate for fine foods.
Oh boy.
In a nutshell, yeah.
I mean, have either of you ever been to a good meeting that was not made much better by the inclusion of really good food?
It's got to be good food because
Yeah,
bad
those are
food makes a
memorable.
bad meeting worse.
It does, exactly.
It really sets the tone,
thank you.
for your
That's
mandatory
it.
fun.
It sets the tone.
It's the ambiance. It's part of the sensory experience. It really is.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Closing thoughts. We're about 4 minutes away from the top of the hour here. Anything else that you would like to share to our lovely listeners at home, either about your camps or life in general? Let me just leave it broad for you.
I heard you say that, our camp cooks are really good at what they do. they're not only really, really good at what they do, but their hearts are so in it. And it's like you can feel the love through the food.
Oh,
and what
that's
I
a
would,
thing.
yeah, you know, and I was just going to kind of like expand on that a little bit. And like one of the main things that we are mentoring these group of youth in whatever modality we're doing it, it's just basically, I think, to create a sense of community, which the kids come out and share that, you know, like you're saying, you keep running into kids that have gone to Gateway and they're expressing their, you know, without you prompting them.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're so proud of it, you know,
Yeah.
it's just really beautiful. And I love hearing the kids' stories. I love seeing the radical self-awareness growth, the growth spurts that happen through camp. And I've been doing like, you know, general education, working with kids and K through 12 and beyond from, you know, that's my entire career. And I've never, ever encountered a program or a culture that has such high capacity. The people that are in it have their hearts in it, and that just makes all the difference in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's mandatory fun, like I'm going to make you do this or extracurricular because it's going to look good on a thing.
Yeah.
And then there's, I want to be here and I want you to want to be here, and let's find out what we can build together as a community.
Authenticity goes a long way, and being true to that. The people that are involved in Gateway, I think, are really grateful to be part of it. Nice. And it just keeps blossoming out, you know, it just keeps coming out. So
we had a very interesting discussion. Do we have, how much time do we have?
We got 2 minutes to the top of the hour, but we've got wiggle room anyway, so.
Okay. We had a, you know, after every camp and stuff like that, we have a review. All the counselors get together and stuff like that. And it was fascinating to see this particular year. We actually had a discussion of the one rule, you know, zero tolerance for creating an unsafe physical or emotional environment, which a lot of the kids credit their amazing experience that they have to that one rule. And I'm like, and here we are discussing the possibility of changing. It's like, how do we do something more restitutional, and rather than a, you know, hey, Vanessa, you're stupid for, you know, because you can't spell the word the, and so automatically I get, you know, I'm removed from camp for the balance of the week, and with the understanding I can come back to another camp absolutely free, no judgments, no anything. But is there a possibility that we don't have to remove a child from camp? Can we keep them there somehow and build restitution between the two, the victim and the perpetrator, and possibly, you know, all the kids who heard me say what I said to Vanessa. It's like, how do we do this in a you know, reasonable amount of time so that the child can maybe get the full benefits of staying the entire time of the week? And we're still in discussion about that. And it just amazed me that after 20 years, we can still, this can come up. And I guess it's all part of that growth process, just part of the awareness process. And
it's like, also part of the capacity growth that we're working on.
Yeah.
It's a hard topic to kind of dive into right now, like fully, but we're just looking at all the possibilities, I think, and it's really nice to see that you're opening up to it, because it does encompass, you know, stress is part of self-awareness. You know, tapping into accountability for your words. Yeah, that's part of self-awareness. Yeah. Can you bridge the gap between, you know, the person that's been hurt and yourself? Can you be true to yourself and like say, hey, I was an asshole or something like that? Sorry, I was a jerk, right? Or you know, I was a jerk. That was, you know, you know, I didn't have to say it that way. This is kind of what you've been making me feel. You know, can we bridge the gap here, or can we find a way and people witness it in the group, because it is a community, it is a space, it is a container that we are maintaining there of safety, because if that's not there, then you can't be yourself. And we don't have to hurt someone else because of what's going on in here, which is really exciting to hear that may be coming into Gateway.
You know, my degree is in communication studies, and so like conflict communication is like one of those things that I'm a nerd about. I studied how to do it correctly because I suck at it. No, I wanted to learn how to do it correctly. And the fact of the matter is, rupture plus repair equals resilience. And so the goal is not to avoid conflict, because you have to learn how to navigate it. You have to learn how to differentiate and how to take ownership for your mistakes and rupture and repair.
If they can pick up those tools, that would so do it for a few of us here.
Yeah, it's kind of a time limitation issue.
Yeah.
You know, you only have 5 days.
Yeah, I completely
And it's
understand
like-
the one rule in the sense that it's 5 days only, and we have to have a structure, and it's been working.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe next year we work on a conflict communication camp. I don't know.
Holy
Absolutely.
smokes.
That's what I'm working on. So if you want to
love
talk
it. I love
more
it.
about it, I am
I'll get
into
you my
that.
card.
I am so into that. Yeah.
That is awesome. So we are 2 minutes past the top of the hour, which means I missed my legal obligation of informing you that you are listening to KFUG LP Crescent City 101.1 FM. Also streaming online, but not through kfugradio.org, because that is in the gooey chrysalis phase of its rebirth. This is Squirrel Interrupted, and I have been speaking with Ron Cole and Vanessa Ortiz about gateway education of the Wild Rivers Coast and our passion for community building and helping youths step into their power. So thank you for coming in and chatting with me. It's a little weird, like my inner teen is over here like, oh, look at us. Oh, yeah, it's good stuff.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. All
Thank
right.
you, Amanda.